Stafford here with Adventure Kiteboarding. I want to show you the 3 hydrofoils we currently have in stock. Just show you some of the differences, some of the similarities, and let you decide what's best for you. So on the left we have the Rrd, in the middle the Cabrinha, and on the right side the Naish. So in terms of weight, they're all about between 8 and 9 pounds. The Cabrini was the lightest by a few ounces, the Naish is in the middle, and the Rrd is the heaviest. Now, part of the reason the Rrd might be the heaviest is because the mast is the longest. So if you take a look at that, you can see the mast is a full 90 centimeters. The Cabrinha is the shortest, and the Naish is somewhere in between. So what I think this means is that from riding both the Cabrinha and the Naish already, the Cabrinha might be the best one to learn on, to get a hang of, to start with. The Naish isn't really far behind. This is very similar, if not identical, to the Liquid Force. But we don't sell Liquid Force, so I don't know if there are differences or not between the Naish and Liquid Force other than, the color and the labeling. All right, so I have ridden the Cabrinha. Some changes they made for the newest version is they have hollowed out up here so that the top of the mast plate is a little bit lighter. Other than that, the fuselage is a little longer, so that you get more stability and more straight line stability. Makes it slightly less carvy, but it's not going to be noticeable, I think, to anybody but somebody who is maybe trying to ride waves. The cord length on the mast of the Cabrinha is the thickest. So from front to back, that is the cord, and the cord length is the most out of these 3. So that does do 2 things. It adds a little bit of drag, obviously, but I think the intention there for Cabrinha was to increase stiffness. On the Rrd, I haven't had a chance to ride this yet, but it's maybe a step above in terms of construction and price. We have carbon wings and a carbon fuselage on an aluminum mast and plate. We have the extreme sort of shaping here to the wing. You can see that. Obviously the Cabrinha is pretty flat, and so is the Naish. Naish sort of is the flattest of them all, but you can see quite a bit of shaping to the Rrd, and it's the only one also that puts the rear wing on top, which is sort of the way to use the force of pushing down, to not put force on the bolts, but to actually just distribute it all across where the fuselage meets the wing. It's also the cleanest junction. Obviously, that's the sort of cleanest junction between the fuselage and the mast and the wings. So a little bit more work probably went into this one for the Rrd. They do encourage you to take it completely apart each time after using it in salt water and to flush it completely with fresh water. It is built with Torx head bolts, so it's the only ones with the Torx head, which I think is actually a good thing, because then we have the least chance of stripping any of those bolts. So once I get out on the water with that, I'll give you a better impression of what the Rrd is like ride-wise. But like I said, the Cabrinha might be the best for the beginner, and the Naish would be very similar, but maybe a slightly little bit better because the mast is a little bit longer, maybe 2 or 3 inches, for somebody who rides in a little more chop. The Naish definitely will still be good for a beginner. The Rrd, you can buy different length masts, and we have those in stock too. So there's 2 shorter ones, that sort of a touch and go, and a sort of like a middle one. And the idea there being that obviously you can keep the wings and the fuselage and just upgrade. So there you have it, Adventure Kiteboarding, giving you some information about the 3 hydrofoils. I'll have an update when I get them all out on the water on the same day, back to back, so you'll have the best impressions of which one will be right for you. In the meantime, any questions about them or the boards that they're associated with and that they can be bolted to, give us a call at adventurekiteboarding.com, 414-367-WAVE.